Hey guys, today we're going to be doing the rollerball tutorial from Unity's own videos, but instead of using standard scripting, we will be using Nodus to completely replace all forms of scripts. So first of all, I'd like to apologize for any video or audio quality, and also my inability to talk correctly half time. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to want to do is get player movement working. So you'll select your player and add your Nodus graph. Now, I'm assuming you've already followed the previous video tutorial for setting everything up, but basically it comes down to if you've changed your version of Unity, compile the entire assembly, and if you've either added a third-party system or wish to add your own, or have changed any of your own code that's been added to the system, you compile custom and third-party. The scene has been set up basically following their videos, but all scripts have been removed. So the first thing we're going to want to do is add a new variable, make it public, change it to a float, or single as it's called, call this spade, put it under the category of movement, and we'll give it a value of 1. Next we're going to want our onFixedUpdate graph event. We'll pull that in. So two things we're going to be wanting to get is get axis to be under input, get axis. So our first one will be called horizontal. I can't even type. Vertical. And next we're going to want to create a vector. So let's see, we're going to want to access our rigid body. So public rigid body, and we'll add a getter. Let's see. Let's do add force. This one. So, want to build our struct, which will be our vector. Let's tidy things up a touch. We want to add our horizontal to be our X motion and our vertical to be our Z motion. Should just tidy this up a touch more. But first what we're going to want to do is multiply our vector 3 by a float. Grab our spade. We'll tie this in instead. So, no. After we've got both of our values, we'll want to tie that in. Trying to be neat and tidy. So that sets our motion up for a reframe. So now we can try this. You'll want to set the rigid body, you want it to be affecting. And now you'll be able to move. But as you can see, it's a touch slow, so we'll open our movement and set this to something like 5. Now we have more control. 15. Yeah, that's a lot more control. Right. So next up, we will want to set up our camera to follow the player. So we'll get add a graph component, and in here we will stipulate the transform we want to follow. And on fixed update again. Well, first of all, we're going to want to do on start. And we'll want a vector 3. We'll leave it private. We'll call this offset. And what we'll do is we will actually add another we'll get our getters for the target that we wish to follow and the camera. So a faster way would be get position, transform, variables, get position. So first we will get the position of our target, and then the position of our camera, and then in math, vector 3, we'll get the difference. Cut. We'll be going from the transform to the camera, so that'll be our offset, and we'll set that. So now every frame, what we're going to want to do will be we'll want to get the position of the target, and then the camera we'll want to set the position plus the offset. So let's get the offset. So let's add these two, and then we will set position on the transform. Now, once we do our hookups, see the target will be the player, and we're referencing ourselves. And in theory, there we go, the camera now follows the ball. And you'll be able to see that running here. So, it's touching the way. Yeah, we can now see it following. So next what we'll want will be to do nice rotation on our cubes, our pickup objects. Now these have already been set up as per the tutorial, our Unity Zone tutorials. So we're actually going to edit the prefabs. Add a graph to it. And in here we'll set on update exactly the same as Unity Zone. We'll get access to our transform. Call the rotate function. Let's see, we want one that takes just XYZ. This one will do. So every frame referencing this transform, we want to rotate by 15, 30, 45. Just trying to tidy up a touch. And that's more useful. So next we have to set up our texts before we even worry about collecting the coins. If you've been following the main tutorial, you'll see that these have already been set up with their tags for pickup. So we'll open the player one again. And we will want to add on the player our what's it called? Our event handler. So we'll want on trigger enter. And we'll mark the player as the trigger enter, the caller. And when this is called, we'll want to access the other. Now the other is of type collider. So in Unity engine, collider. There should be a get game object. Here we go, get game object. The game object, and then we'll compare tag. Game object, compare tag. Pass in the game object, call it, and our tag will be pickup. Now we'll use a branch. Call it, pass in the value. Now if this is true, we will want to destroy. See, the two values are this one. We want to destroy our game object that we just collided with, and that will be that for now. So let's test that out. I'll leave it on screen so you can see. Run in the debug mode. Nope. So now we know that works. Next of all, we're going to want to be able to add scoring. So we'll make a private and leave it as an integer, and we'll just call this count. Now we'll add a getter and a setter for count. Now every time this happens, we will increment it by 1. 1. Now we have, as you can see in the game view, there's the count text up in the top left corner. So now that we're constantly counting, we will want to be able to access that text. So we'll make this public, access in here, and we'll just write text. We'll call it count text and put it under UI. Also should probably move this rigid body under movement as well. That's more clean. Hide the movement section. UI. While we're doing this, we'll also create another public variable called winText. And we will set those up. Oh, forgot to put it under EI. There we go. So, count text, winText. So every time these are updated, we will want to get our count, and getter. Text. Scroll down until you find this should actually be under a different namespace, I think. EI. Oh, it's right at the bottom. Couldn't even see that. Text. Variables. Set text. Plop that in there, and our text will have to be, we'll have to get our toString, and our concat, and we'll say count :space. We'll apply that to here, so let's just tidy things up a touch here. So every time the count is updated, we'll want to do this, but also on start as well. Nodus events, graph. So now, as it plays, whenever it first starts, it should say count 0, then count 1, count 2, 3, etc. Next we'll need to say that on start, we want to set our winText to say nothing. So we'll cut that from there first. So winText at getter. And we'll leave the value as blank for now. We'll tie that in to call that straight away after. So let's set up let's do some tidying. Nope. Just doing some cleanup right now. Right there, now we've got some nice, neat chunks of code, as it were. After this block, we'll then want to check our win text. So we'll set up a new integer value and call this win count. So how high your count has to be for the game to be won. I think we have 12 pickup objects. So do an if statement. No. If int. So win count at getter. Want the setter text again. So if A is equal to B, or A is greater than B, you won. So now you'll see everything's rotating as it should. We've got our count value that goes up as we hit things. And once we've collected all 12 of them, you win. And that's it for this tutorial. I apologise for my accent and the potential quality, but at least now you can see what it can do. I was told that the Rollerball project was the equivalent of Hello World for Unity, so hope you enjoyed, and thank you very much. Bye.